Hey guys, this video is going to be a look at my 3.75 inch Star Wars vehicle collection, and then I will go on and do a top 10 selection of these vehicles. So starting off with Anakin's speeder from Attack of the Clones. I really love this little speeder thing. It's got that sort of George Lucas 50s, 60s look. And then Zam Wessel from the same line. I think this was Saga 2002, something like that. We got Darth Tyrannus's speeder, and then Anakin Skywalker's swoop bike. We've got another swoop bike there, Enfys Nest from Solo. I think this was called the Flash Speeder from Episode 1. I actually really like that vehicle. And then we've got a Naboo fighter from Episode 1 as well, with the electronic sounds and lights and all that sort of stuff. We've got a Trade Federation tank. I can't remember the exact name for that. Sorry, I'm probably going to butcher some of these names and lines. Droid Tri-Fighter from Revenge of the Sith. Republic Gunship from, I can't remember the this is obviously, I think it's from Attack of the Clones, but I can't remember the line. And obviously the Soul Barge up the back. Jedi Starfighters from Revenge of the Sith. It's the purple one is the purple and grey is the Obi-Wan, and then yellow and grey is Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. We've got an Ywing from, I think was this Power of the Force line. X-Wing, Luke's X-Wing, I can't remember the line of that. We've got TIE Bomber. We've got I can't remember the exact name of this. Han Speeder from Solo. Rey's Speeder from The Force Awakens, and then an A-Wing from The Last Jedi. We have a Bespin Cloud Car from, I think that was the Shadows of the Dark Side line. They got the Vintage Collection Rogue One tank. I actually absolutely love that vehicle. Ywing from, is that Power of the Jedi? I can't remember. The box in my cupboard, I should really look at that. And then Luke's Land Speeder, I can't remember that line either. That's the original Vintage Collection Snowspeeder. And then Vintage Collection Slave 1. The big Millennium Falcon, absolutely love that thing. That was the Legacy Collection, I think. And then the recent sort of Rogue One Black Series ATST, and then the recent Vintage Collection release of the Big Wing TIE Fighter, absolutely brilliant. And last up, we've got the big AT-AT, which is an absolute beast. Love that vehicle. Okay, before I get into the top 10 list, I just wanted to give out a few honourable mentions, starting with the Jedi Starfighters. Now, as I mentioned in my recent unboxing of that Obi-Wan version, I love these vehicles, but I prefer the Anakin version. Really nice little vehicles. The next honourable mention goes to the Armoured Assault Tank from Episode 1. I think this is officially a Clone Wars line vehicle, but, you know, who cares. Love it. Multiple cannons and play features and firing projectiles. No nerf, thank you very much. And you can put droids in there, battle droids in there, all that sort of stuff. Love it. I could not give an honourable mention to the Vintage Collection Snowspeeder, if not for the packaging, but the vehicle itself. Great little vehicle. It's got swap out cannons. You can have cannons with firing projectiles or not. And then the tow rope thing on the back, you can either have a sort of realistic looking one or one with a firing projectile with a tow rope. So very nice. The next vehicle is one that I desperately wanted to get in the top 10, the A-Wing, the Power of the Force A-Wing, but it got squeezed out. And it's very simple design, but very well done, especially for the time. And it's only about 1 billion times better than the Last Jedi version of the A-Wing, but absolutely love this vehicle, and I really wish it could have made top 10. And then the last honourable mention goes to this Power of the Force Ywing, and I originally had this actually in 10th place in the top 10, but it got swapped out with something else. And I'm not sure, but fantastic vehicle. Look at all the detail, especially for back in the day in the sculpt. It's not entirely screen accurate, but I think they did a pretty good job. All right, on to the top 10, starting with the ATST at number 10. And this is what I swapped out the Ywing for. And I really like this vehicle. I remember when I was a kid having the original vintage version of the ATST and thinking, why doesn't it look right? But they eventually got it right. This more angular, boxy looking vehicle, while it's not entirely screen accurate, and this version is based on the Rogue One, I guess, version of the ATST that we briefly see in Rogue One. I really like it. And at number 9 we have the TIE Bomber from Power of the Jedi line. Now, of course, this top 10 list is based on my collection only, not what I think are the top 10 vehicles ever made of all time. But have a look at this. Even again, this is an older version. Look at the sculpted detail, really nice. And it's sculpted in that blue grey type plastic. Really like it. They did a great job with this one, I think. Number 8 is the recent release of the Vintage Collection TIE Fighter, and this is a re-release of the Big Wing Legacy TIE Fighter, and the scale is so much better than other releases of the TIE Fighters. The ratio between the cockpit size and the wings is absolutely spot on, I think, or at least a lot closer than previous versions. I do have the original Vintage Collection version, which I didn't show in this video. I couldn't be bothered cracking it out of the box, which is packed away in the cupboard somewhere. But yeah, this is a great version. It's cast in a darker grey plastic, but very nice. Number 7 is the Imperial Assault Tank as we see it in Rogue One. This is the Vintage Collection. Great job they did with this one. Of all the Disney Star Wars vehicles, this is easily the best, aside from the Sail Barge, obviously. But we paid for it. If you bought it when it first came out at full price, it was pricey, but I still think it's worth it. Just great sculpt, great paint, great accessories, the canisters on the back with the kyber crystals and all that sort of stuff, and the ability to put several figures in there, rotating cannons, the rubber treads. Great, they did a fantastic job with this. At number 6 we have the Vintage Collection Slave One, which I believe back in the day was an Amazon exclusive, and as soon as I became aware of this vehicle, I had to buy it. I bought it after the fact, and just a nice big Slave One. All the Slave Ones that we had back in the day were undersized, and none of these vehicles are to scale with the figures, but this one I think is as good as we're going to get. Pretty well painted, an attempt at weathering and that sort of thing. I don't know, I really like it. Number 5 was a bit of a toughie for me. It was a toss-up between this X-Wing and the Republic Gunship, but I went with this X-Wing, which is the Saga Collection version from 2006. This is the one that comes with the Swamp Moss and the Dragon Snake, I think it's called, monster from Dagobah. But absolutely love this X-Wing. The way it's painted, the weathering is fantastic. I bought this second hand. It wasn't new or in box or anything like that, so there's a little bit of wear and tear there, but I guess it just adds to the weathering. I really love it. So at number 4 we have the Republic Gunship. I believe this, from memory, this is the 2002 Saga Collection version, but I mean it's been redone, but I still think this is an absolutely fantastic version. The sculpt is great, the paint is great. It's probably not quite as good as some of the later versions, but it still looks fantastic. You got that feature there where the sort of bay doors open. I'll display it like that. I think it looks amazing with the bay doors opened up. Okay, down to the top 3, and I'm sure there's no surprise that this guy made it to the top 3, and this is the Vintage Collection version of the Big At, and like I said before, what an absolute beast this thing is. Big, tall, lanky, camel looking, but great sculpt on the armor, a bit of weathering there. It does come with stickers that I have not applied, so you can get stickers. You can apply stickers to give it extra weathering, and I'm not going to go through all the play features. This is actually a playset as well as a vehicle. My first, the first big vehicle that I ever purchased, and I love it. Number 2 in my top 10 list of 3.75 inch vehicles in my collection is the Sail Barge. As you can see here, it may be a shock to some, as I recently purchased this for an insane amount of money, but I really, really like it. I love it. I love what they've done here. I love the, and I'm not going to open it up, and you can check out my unboxing video if you want to see the interior, but it is a fantastic vehicle. So many different elements going on aside from what's going on inside, on top of the deck, the guns and all the detail. It's absolutely brilliant. So at number 1 we have the big Millennium Falcon, and anyone that has been following my channel for a while will not be surprised by that. I'm constantly banging on about how this Millennium Falcon is the greatest Star Wars toy ever created, and also possibly the greatest creation by mankind in general. So yeah, this was always going to be the winner of the top 10 3.75 inch vehicles in my collection. And just look at it, it's brilliant. I'm not even going to open it up and go through all the interior sections and the sound effects and the play features and all that sort of stuff. Just look at it, it's just massive and looks brilliant, and I absolutely love it, as I'm sure you can tell. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed taking a look at the 3.75 inch vehicles in my collection, and also I hope you enjoyed my top 10 list. I'm not sure if you'll agree with it or not, but let me know in the comments down below, and thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and as always, may the force be with you.